Hello, everybody. So today I am going to be doing a reading of a short story I wrote, um, just off the top of my mind, something that I decided to do, and seeing how everything goes, whether or not people enjoy it or not, and would just like to, well, if a lot of people like it, then, and a lot of people say to try to make it into something, I might. Anyhow, let's get started. Chapter 1. The blood dripped from his teeth. He could feel the flesh smushing and being ground by the points. He once feared what he would become when he let the beast out. Over time, though, he brought it to conform to some of his morals. Schmidt did everything he could to try to ensure that he never hurt any innocent humans. The poor man he had just consumed had attempted the murder of his entire family. Wasn't he doing the right thing? The only time he had accidentally consumed an innocent was when he first started. His heart still mourned over them. They had no idea what was going to happen to them. The beast stood up from the bloody pile on the ground, the bones still having some of the flesh stuck to them, dripping. It was a truly morbid sight, but after so long, after so many years, he grew used to seeing the beast's leftovers. Schmidt just wanted to be back in control of his own body once more. The beast reluctantly complied, still following its desire of being the only one in this cursed body. It had taken some time for Schmidt to earn his place in semi-control of the beast. He wanted nothing more than to be rid of that creature that watched over his shoulder, constantly waiting, wanting to feast. Schmidt turned from the corpse and started back towards his home, wiping as many traces of blood and flesh away from himself as he could. The cops would eventually find this, too. Once again wishing to find out who had been given the curse. For many thought that the only way out of the curse, or more, to break the curse of one person, was to have that person killed. One way or another. The beast knew how to truly be rid of the curse once and for all, but wasn't willing to tell Schmidt, or anyone else for that matter, due to it only wishing to go back to the forest of its pup days, its desire to be hunting once more with its old pack. I hunger for more, the beast gruffly spoke into Schmidt's mind. Of course you do, Schmidt thought to himself. That is all I can get for you for the day. Please, go back to resting. I will find more of them for you by tomorrow. Schmidt refocused his mind on trying to just get back home. Now in full control, he turned the corner and checked around to see if anyone was near this exit of the alley. He sighed, stepped out, and began walking casually back to his apartment. Upon opening the door to his apartment 107 of Building 3, Schmidt heard his pet phoenix ring its bell near his window in joy and sad understanding. Schmidt chuckled to himself. It couldn't be considered a pet if it had a choice as to whether or not to stay with him, right? Hey, Screech. He rubbed the top of the phoenix's plumage with one hand. How are you, bud? Have a full stomach? Screech squawked a response to Schmidt's question. Still having the trouble of trying to figure out how to get rid of the curse? Schmidt heard in his head the thoughts of his beloved friend. Schmidt sighed in relief. I thought you had lost your touch after being gone for these past 2 days, Schmidt responded jokingly. Screech was visibly slightly taken aback, but then squawked some laughter. Even with all of these things happening, you still hold that same humor. Screech laid his head against Schmidt's leg and looked up at him. To think, the one person that has actually been able to not only notice us, fantasy creatures, effects, but also able to see us, would be the next cursed one. It truly is a shame if the only way for it to be broken is in your death. Screech trailed off and hopped over to where his small makeshift nest, only made for resting in Schmidt's apartment, was, and got himself comfortable. If it wasn't for you, I would never have known I was able to. To this day, I still haven't seen another one of the creatures. If it wasn't for the curse, I would ask if I could possibly go with you to your place and mess it up for once, Schmidt smiled, knowing the comment would get on Screech's nerves. I do not leave this place a dump. That is your own doing, Screech responded back in a humorous tone. Schmidt let out a small, hearty laugh. You never can just respond to that kind of comment, can you? Schmidt leaned back on his couch and just relaxed. It is part of our pride, and you know that. Plus, the entire idea of you crossing over would be nearly impossible in the first place. It is only in extreme cases that a human is allowed to cross over. Being cursed with the beast is of no help either, as it makes you a danger to the creatures in the realm. Specifically, with the nature of the beast, Screech continued. I have continued to do some research into the curse as you asked. Some of the dragonkin have started to wonder why I choose such delicate topics. They might be catching on. Schmidt sighed heavily. I know. If you get caught doing this, it would be very bad for me, because they, too, will only ever slay the cursed one, Schmidt stated with a heavy heart. Schmidt suddenly felt a hard headache hit, but only for a moment. The only thing he could think about for that split moment was hungry. Schmidt tensed and gritted his teeth to fight back not only the pain, but also the thoughts and the beast was pushing into his mind. I cannot even imagine how much pain it must bring you to have to fight back against the beast. Its horrible treatment towards all, but its own is known to many, if not all. It must bring you great pain. Screech commented on how Schmidt reacted to the beast's influence. It's gotten... well, it actually hasn't gotten any easier. If anything, the longer he goes without a feeding, the worse it gets. I can hold him back for almost a week at a time now. I just need more time to figure out anything that might be of use to break the curse. It doesn't entail me crossing over or being killed. Schmidt sighed in burdened pain. Thank you guys for listening. If you don't mind, I was just wondering how people would react to this and how it would, fare. I know that there were a couple moments where I kind of had to double back, but that's because I'm not the best at reading, and I don't do double takes. I prefer that, if something's going to be done right, it's going to be done in one go. So, but thank you very much for paying attention, and thank you very much for, having an interest in this. Bye.